the Teesside Junior Football Nights. It is a Thursday evening, after all. To put in focus, because 3 of the 4 weeks each one, the idea that Chris had right at the very start was to try and find out a little bit more about the teams who make up Europe's largest junior football league. And it's been a fascinating journey, and we'll continue in the next season, Chris, because we've barely scratched the surface.
We haven't, Ali. We haven't got halfway through yet, so it's good news, isn't it, really?
It is. This team, which is Stranton FC, the club was formed in 2006 by Hartlepool Sports Development, with day-to-day running being passed over to the parents, one of whom I'm going to be speaking to fairly shortly. The key objective was to give underprivileged children the chance to play football in an area of the town where there were no other teams. They obtained their FA charter standard status in November 2006, renewed this in April 2009 for a further 3 years. They formed close links with 2 primary schools, Catcoat and Stranton, where they used the venues as their home bases of the tjfa. They currently run 2 teams, around 35 children involved in under 10, under 11 age groups. They do have the facility to take on an additional small-sided team if there are any looking to start in Hartlepool, and I suppose that might be something that we're going to be speaking with Simon about in just a moment or two. At the time of composing this, when Chris sent it to me, the under-10 team is in 2nd place in the 4th division, the under-11 team 6th place in the 6th division, and this is their most successful season by far, and it would be a remarkable achievement if their under-10s could make the league presentation evening, the Tall Trees, to one of the 3 nights in the early part of June. They will have their own annual awards evening, which I'm sure will be great, on Friday the 14th of May. On Saturday, they're participating in a shop packing fundraiser. I'm sure that Simon again will tell us a little bit more about this. And a special mention needs to be given to Stephen Sanderson, who wouldn't come amiss as he's been instrumental in keeping the club moving forward over the past 4 years. The person I'm going to be speaking to fairly soon is a great lad. He's been hugely effective in driving this club forward. It can't have been easy for him, but he's put so much hard work in. He's extremely proud of the achievements of Stranton FC in keeping the kids off the streets, and so is everybody associated with the Teesside Junior Football Alliance. They deserve to shout about their team. And shouting about Stranton FC is going to be Simon Mincher, who is the club secretary. And Simon is on the line right now. Hello, Simon.
Hello, good evening, gents.
Hello, good evening to you. It is a wonderful story, Stranton FC, because one of the great threads during the course of Thursdays on BBC T Sport has been the way in which Chris has introduced teams to us and put clubs in focus. Some clubs have vast numbers of teams who compete in the Teesside Junior Football Alliance. For yourselves, not as many teams, but goodness me, what a lot of value you do put back into your community, Simon.
Yeah, I mean, initially the club, I suppose the club started off as a local authority project that evolved over a period of time into a standalone football club run by parents such as myself. And that happened by accident, really, because initially there was a young coach in place, and there was a football development officer by the name of David Burns who intended to run the club. But over a period of time, it became clear that they wouldn't be able to give it the long-term commitment it needed to be a success. So we were left with the dilemma, I suppose. Do we waste a marvellous opportunity and see all hard work go by the wayside, or do we get involved and run the thing ourselves? And that's what we decided to do.
What was part of your decision process at that stage? Because for many people, it could have been easy to say, well, this isn't going to work, let's just walk away from it.
There was a number of reasons. The first one was that we got a taste of playing in the TGFA. The problems didn't arrive until after a few games, and we could see that the kids were loving the experience. We didn't want to let the kids down. The other thing is the marvellous people you meet every week in the league. You know, we got so much encouragement in the early days. We were a struggling club. The first season was a baptism of fire, but clubs like Hardwick Youth, Ferry Hill Town, Newcliff Youth, they all encouraged us. I'll never forget that our first season was difficult, but teams like that kept us going, and it was great. And hopefully in the future, you know, when we meet new teams, we'll do the same. But it was great stuff. It was. I don't think any of us would change anything that's happened. There's been some trials and tribulations, but it's been fantastic.
What difference do you think it's made to the likes of the people who play for Stranton FC, and also what difference has it made to the part of Hartlepool?
I think what happened was that Hartlepool got Borough Council looked at areas of the town where teams weren't based, and Stranton Stranton is right in the centre of the town, and certainly there's a community centre there that we started off in. And we basically started off with only a few players, but what we did do was we created a link with the school, which gave us access to more players. And initially we were covered by a community grant, but we always knew we would have to become self-sufficient after a while. So we started doing fundraising events and things like that. And we've always kept the principles and the ideas of why the club was put together in the first place in mind when we've made decisions. We've always kept subs at low levels. We've introduced a scheme in the last year or so, which I'm extremely proud of. It's like a scholarship scheme where the committee voted to put aside £200 per annum to put aside to subsidise equipment for players. So, for example, if we recruit a player from a less affluent family who say he can't afford football boots or he can't afford a rain jacket, that goes to the committee, and we put some of the money forward to pay for that equipment. We do other things like every year we do a free Christmas party for the kids. And I just think the opportunity to play in a league like the tjfa, the prestige, and just the achievement, I think it's really brought the kids on in the last few years. Most of them have stayed with us since we were under 8s. But a lot of them are under level now, and the development on the field as well. It's been fantastic.
Quick word, if we could, Simon, for Stephen Sanderson, who's worked hard to keep the club moving forward.
Stephen's been fantastic. I mean, if Stephen hadn't come on board as manager in the early days, and he's been with us the last 4 years, we wouldn't be in the position we're in now. As you know, football's full of unsung heroes who do stuff behind the do work beyond the call of duty. And Stephen falls into that category. He absolutely lives and breathes the club. As I said, we wouldn't be in the position we're in now without him. He wouldn't ask for thanks, which is why I put him forward for recognition, if you like. He's really been fantastic for us.
Yeah, well done that. Well, you're looking to raise £7,000 to purchase a minibus to transport players to and from the matches.
Yeah.
So how are you setting about that? Again, you've got a shop packing fundraiser, and I suppose did you get help financially from sponsors and things like that?
We did, yeah. And I'd like to say a big thank you to the Cooperative Funeral Care who came on board 3 years ago when financially we weren't secure, and they helped us to provide the stability of the club and a long-term commitment that it needed. So a big thank you to Robin Hardy, the local branch manager, because he came forward when no one else seemed to know Stranton, and they weren't prepared to do anything for us. So that's been brilliant. The shop pack you mentioned, we actually did last Saturday at a local supermarket. All the parents, players, and officials got together from both teams, and we managed to raise £1,200, just short of £1,200, which is fantastic. So I'd like to thank everybody involved with that.
How close target now of 7,000?
We've got about 3,000 raised at the minute. We're looking at other events over the summer, possibly that we haven't devised yet, but hopefully we've got a fundraiser on board. We're looking at other grants that possibly we can obtain. But we need to get the funds within the next 12 months, or some of the grants will expire. But I believe we can do it, because one of the benefits of that will be a lot of the players that join us don't have transport to games, so the benefit of that to get them to tournaments and training and things like that would be fantastic.
Well, every success to you, Sam. Simon Minshew, thank you so much for telling us about Stranton FC. And good luck to Stranton. And long may you flourish in the Teesside Junior Football Alliance. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And thank you for the opportunity.
No problem at all. Thank you. Chris, I was just thinking there, we operate in a world of, sometimes you operate in a world of interviewing Premier League footballers and people who gain huge rewards from playing this game. I'm just bringing it back to Simon there. Sometimes some of the kids who want to play for his football team can't afford a pair of football boots.
Exactly.
I mean, I keep saying this, Ali, and people think it's all bull, and it really isn't. I mean, the salt of the earth, these guys out there, they're looking after these kids playing football every week. Rags to riches stories. And to set a group of kids away from a basic youth and community centre all them years ago and to keep them together now, it tugs at the heartstrings, doesn't it? You want those clubs to get bigger, to get better,
and they've mixed with the best. They're mixing with the best now. They've said all the way along the word Alliance is now a league title. Those are the clubs who have helped them out, the Ferry Hills, the New Naked Hughes, the Hardwicks. Absolutely first class. And like I say, Ali, salt of the earth, these guys. Genuine, hard-working, honest people who just look after kids' football for nothing at all. It's brilliant.
Chris, we're running out of time. But do you want to pick a couple of games?
Well, I'll pick a couple. I might just get to an Ali.